out, everyone? 700-hour review for the SCAG Vride 2. I'm at, what does that say, 703 hours. So I'll do a 703 hour and a half review. I'll talk about first. Everybody likes, what are the things that you like first? But I'm gonna go over the one thing about this mower I do not like. It's the only thing. And I found that it's on my sit-down mower as well. So I guess it's a SCAG issue. Excuse me, I'm getting over being sick with something. I don't know, bird flu, Ebola virus. I don't know what it is, but been sick for about a week. And yeah, so if I cough, man, try to ignore all that. But the one thing is floating decks on SCAGs. I'll go over this right here on another review. I've only had this mower for just a little while, so I'm gonna keep cutting with it, and so far that's the only thing that I don't like. Same with this Vride 2, floating the deck. When you're on the mower, you have to lift the lever up as you're mowing to float the deck, basically going around the roots and rocks and bumps and divots and stuff like that. Excuse me. Or if you don't want to do that, you just have to avoid those areas, which is really annoying. So I'm kind of finding that's a SCAG issue, and I'm not sure why that is. But aside from that, this mower's awesome. I believe, God, I can't remember the amount of gallons. It's either like 5 or 6, somewhere around there. But I can run this mower. It's only got one tank. There's not a tank on the other side. But I can run this mower all day on a full tank, and by the end of the day, it'll be pretty much at a fourth. And that's, I don't know, running it about 6-7 hours a day. So that's pretty much what I average, and I can make it into the next day, and cut a yard or two before I gas it back up again. So that's pretty good. The engine is an important feature on all mowers. This engine's a 23.5 horsepower, which isn't, the fastest or strongest, but it gets the job done. It's a pretty good motor. Haven't had any issues out of it. Knock on wood. Hopefully I didn't jinx myself right there. But not had any issues with the motor at all. It's really the only issue that I did have when I first got it is when I went to engage the parking brake right over here, that lever. There's a little button under here. It's hard to see back here, but the lever hits the button to engage that parking brake. Excuse me. So at first that button was not screwed in tightly, and it was kind of like moving around, so the lever was not pushing the button up to engage that parking brake. So I couldn't start the mower, and when I first got it, I had like an hour on it before it started doing that. But I just took it back and they fixed it. It wasn't a big deal, but that was the only issue I had when I first got this mower. Like I said, it's not a big issue. Every so often it gets a little loose, I'll just go in there and tighten it back up. Pretty sure I could just put some Loctite on it or something, but it only gets loose now once every, I don't know, man, maybe once every 100 hours. So, but at first it was like, all the time. One of the issues I just got fixed was the throttle cable. So 700 hours over that period of time, I guess the throttle cable was just getting worn out or something. I'm not sure, but when I would run at full speed, as I was cutting, the throttle would start going down, and I would start slowing down, which was kind of annoying because I had to keep throttling up to keep going faster. But aside from those little things, those are really the only issues I've had with this mower. Excuse me again. Damn. So another thing that I was having issues with was the deck belt. belt for the mower, or the damn, I'm having a brain fart. Too much cold medicine. For the blades to start spinning, the PTO. But I think that was user error. I was engaging the blades at full throttle, so I was going through a belt. What was it? Once every 100 hours. Once, yeah, yeah. It was once. I was averaging one belt every 100 hours, and I thought that was just normal. And then I started talking to other, people that do lawn care, and they're like, nah, that's not normal. So I was thinking something was wrong with my spindles, something was wrong, but I think it was user error. The more I started talking about it with people and started researching, you're not supposed to engage the blades at full throttle, which I don't. I've always done it. Every mower I've ever had, and it's never been an issue. But for whatever reason, it's an issue on this mower and maybe other people too. But so I just started engaging the blades at half throttle, and I started doing that at around 500 hours. So it's been 200 hours now since I started doing that, and I've not had a belt, break on me since. So I'm pretty sure that was a user error type thing. So those are the only issues I've had with this mower. It's the deck lever is, it's basic. It takes a little muscle sometimes when you're out cutting to, like I said, float that deck. That's really the most frustrating thing I can think of when dealing with this mower. Changing blades on it is pretty easy. Just jack the front of the mower up, man, and you don't have to hold one end with a wrench. You just hit it with an impact wrench. You don't have to hold the other end, and the bolts fall out, and it's pretty easy. So I've heard other people have issues with changing out their blades and how tedious it can be. But I did get the grass flap. I think it was my second season of having the mower. I ran it a full season without a chute cover, and I don't know how I lived without it, because this thing makes my life a whole lot easier. So definitely something that I would recommend getting if you're going to be cutting, on a regular basis. If you're going to get more than just a couple customers, you want to be able to avoid spraying grass into people's flower beds, and be able to point your deck towards the road if you needed to. You just close the flap. You don't have to worry about hitting passing cars with rocks, pine cone sticks. You don't think a stick or pine cone can do damage, but I have hit a car with a stick, and it caused a little dent. So it can be done. So I don't think that it won't. Just the tiger eye up here is what they call it. Just the panel. Choke, standard stuff. Choke, throttle, engage the blades. It's got a charger right here. This right here, the panel tells you, you got a low battery or something going on with the engine, if the parking brake's not engaged, things of that nature. But stand-ons I love, but I will say, like, standing on it all day is kind of difficult. I'm 43 years old. I got flat feet, man, and being on this all day long, sometimes it does get a little tiring, but overall, it doesn't, put any kind of strain on, personally on me, on my back, which I have a bad back too, so getting old sucks. But excuse me, pretty much your knees are supposed to take most of the shock, and I have found that that's the case with me. It doesn't hurt my feet, except if I'm a solo operator, so I do it all: mow, weed eat, edge blow, everything under the sun is what I'm doing. So if I'm on my feet 10 hours that day, and I'm only taking a 10-15 minute break for lunch, yeah, my feet are going to start hurting. So, and that kind of plays into what kind of shoes I'm wearing. So I'm trying different shoes this year. I'm trying some of the, what are they called? Cujo Jacks, Cujo Yardwear Jacks. I guess I'll do a review of those as well. I've heard good things. I've worn them twice now. I did have to put like an arch support insole in it, and so far so good. So, but we'll see once we get into those dog days of summer. That's when you really start finding out what's working, what's not working. So, you know, the stand-ons, it doesn't hurt my feet. I've heard other people say that it does hurt their feet a little bit, and that's just, you know, not being on it all day, but just a, you know, an hour or two, their feet start hurting. So for whatever reason, everybody's different. I've talked to people where they said it hurts their back a little bit. So I guess it just depends on everybody. You know, what you got going on with your body. If you've got issues with your feet, your back, whatever. So it's good to have a sit-down mower as well to help offset that type of stuff in case you do start having issues. Excuse me. So changing the oil, really easy. Oil filters here, hit the oil there. I did make the mistake last year of running the mower without checking the oil, and I took it in to get serviced, and they said it was bone dry pretty much, and I was like, oh shit, I'm really messed up. But they said luckily nothing was damaged, so that was my bad. So you do need to stay on top of, you know, maintaining your mowers on a regular basis. I'm not gonna lie, there's sometimes where I slack on some things, and it's easy to do if you're a solo operator doing it all. You know, typically I do all my maintenance on Sundays, and there's some Sundays where I am just worn out from the week. You know, we got 2 kids as well, you know, so running a business, 2 kids, doing after school activities, taking them to school, picking them up from school, going to the gym. By Sunday, there's times where I'm like, I'm not changing the blades out today. I'm not sharpening the blade. I'm good. I only got, you know, a few yards tomorrow, and it's not going to be a big deal, because you always make excuses in your head, but it's good to stay on top of it and check your oil. It should be a morning thing for sure. Something that I neglect. I have to get better at doing that, but changing oil is really easy. There's a tube right underneath there. I don't know if you can see it, but you just twist this right here, and you know the oil will release, and you know, unscrew the filter and put a new one in, and you know, it's pretty easy, not hard at all. But yeah, maintaining it is pretty easy. Like I said, changing out the blades, like I said, you just put an impact on top of here. You don't even have to take this casing off if you don't want to. I take it off just to make sure there's no leaves and debris in there. But put an impact on top of that, you know, unscrew it, lift the deck up, and then the bolts will just fall out. You grab them. For the middle one, you do have to remove this plate. There's a handheld impact wrench that you can slide back there and easily do that as well. Mine's bigger. I need to get a better one. One that can be handheld. It's not as big. I got a big Ryobi, so I can't slide it in there between the engine and the top bolt. But I just do it from underneath. And so that's how I do it. But still not difficult. But sometimes, you know, you got to just crawl under there and do it. And, like I said, sometimes it's easy to just say, like, no, I'm not going to do it this weekend. I'm good. But typically that's the dog days of summer when we're just busy, you know, and you just get tired and worn out. But there's definitely things I could do better as far as like maintaining the mower goes. But it's been super reliable. It cuts great. You know, that's something that SCAG, I think, has a good reputation for, is the cut quality. Even with dull blades, it cuts really good. And I'm not trying to make an excuse for not sharpening blades, but in all seriousness, even with dull blades, it'll cut really good. The only thing that it does not cut well that I have found is dandelions, which right now they're popping up, you know, early spring. That's a pain in the butt for whatever reason. So it could be the blades that I use. I use standard gator blades throughout the year. It just makes it easier. I don't run X blades. I tried that one season. Excuse me. But it was hard. I could tell it was a lot harder on the engine. And that's when I was going through belts too. So I was like, well, maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe my mower just can't handle the X blades. It's just too much. But now I'll just run the 3 blades across gator blades. And it does really well cutting grass, mulching up all the grass clippings. And usually, like when I cut wet grass, it does pretty good at making sure it's not clumped up. You know, there's times where you do have to run over it, you know, wet grass a couple times, you know, if you need to, and you may have to blow it, but it does pretty well cutting grass, all grass types. Just the dandelions are kind of, you know, the troublemakers, man. So I did try getting, it was some high lift blades from Ballard, which it did pretty good on getting those dandelions. But then when the grass started really growing, those high lift blades didn't give a good cut on Bermuda grass, which is what, man, I would say probably like 96% of my customers have is Bermuda. So I just changed them out. After the dandelions kind of went away, I changed them back out to the gator blades. And so sometimes you just got to play around with the blades to see what kind of works best on what grass. And like I said, I don't have to do too much since most of my customers are Bermuda grass customers, and a lot of them have just kind of like grass that we have, which is just, you know, pasture grass, which is everything mixed in with itself. So, but even then, the gator blades cut great on that. So I think I'm covering everything. You know, battery is right here. You know, air filters, everything's standard, man. Easy to maintain. Nothing's hard about it. I just tripped about busting my ass. So, great mower. I'm happy with it. At 7 hours, I would recommend a SCAG Vride 2. I don't know about the earlier models. I know nothing about them, but for the 2023s and up, I would recommend it for anybody that's thinking about getting one. And so I'll be doing another review on the Tiger Cat 2, and I don't know, I'll probably run that a couple hours or a couple hundred hours before I do that. And I guess my next video, man, we'll clean up my house. This is looking like it needs a little love right now. I just sprayed these weeds. They're starting to pop up. These bushes, I can't even pronounce the name of them, Leopetrolums or something like that. They're starting to bloom. So yeah, it's about go time here in Georgia. It pretty much is go time here in Georgia. I'm 30 minutes south of Atlanta. So we're about to kick it into gear. You can see all the dandelions. I'm not gonna change out my blades this year to get those. I'm just gonna run the gator blades. So as you can see, I got a lot of grass out here to cut. This is a little over 2 acres. So I'm just waiting to start feeling better, man, before I start hitting it, man. But I'm gonna be hitting it here in the next couple days. So, all right, man, we'll see y'all next time.